if you're looking for a company that's been around and knows what they're doing, especially in the space we're talking about, waterproofing, we've got an expert here. Stay tuned for this one, everybody. It's a little behind. There it is. Hey, everybody, we're back. The Your Little Castle Show. We're talking technology and all the fun stuff we get to partake here as a computer nerd historically. And so synchronizing cameras and microphones and all the fun stuff we get to do. But I tell you, somebody talking about something that's some really important work. When you've got water poured in your house, waterproofing becomes very valuable to have somebody knows that space. Somebody's dealt with that a little bit. In another instance, we had water pipe blow and then it froze and destroyed everything on two levels of a apartment, two little apartments we have in Fayette, Missouri. Thank goodness we had good insurance, but there was some definite restoration that had to be done there. That was crazy. And so that's the kind of stuff you deal with, water pipes that blow. And
it can be, that's more plumbing related, but yeah, ours is typically groundwater kind of situation.
Okay. Cool. Well, with that, let's jump in here. I want to ask our guest some more about what it is. And we didn't get to this question last show, but what's the biggest mistake, Mark, that people make when they have this kind of an issue? Is it putting it off, or is it not doing it right the first time? What are the biggest mistakes people make?
Yeah, I mean, from any project standpoint, any project you have to do twice is the most expensive project you'll ever do. Yeah, you don't want to have to do it twice. So, again, finding a reputable contractor to do that for you the first time is a big deal. But yeah, I think most people wait for it because they're either scared of the cost and they don't have the money, which we offer different options for that as well. But or, again, I see people all the time that will get bids from competitors, and those numbers scare them. And so, I'll have people that are on my calendar for me to go out and see them, and they'll call and they'll cancel the appointment. And I always follow back up, just want to get an idea of why you're calling to cancel. And oftentimes it's, I got a bid and it's way outside of the scope of what we can afford. And then I'll, again, just as a human being, I'll have a conversation with them and kind of get an idea of what they're looking for and realize, okay, they got one of the inflated bids. That's not what it needs to cost. And oftentimes, let me come out, I'll take a look at it, and it's not going to cost you anything for me to come see it. I'll give you a number, and it'll usually be way better than what you've heard already, so we kind of go from there.
There you go. And how often is it the case that you just don't know what you don't know? And when you've got just one opinion, you're saying get more than one estimate.
Never a bad thing.
To talk to it. With that, we've got some experts that support us here on the Your Little Castle Show. Carroll House Furniture, because you like nice things in your little castle that might have had some water damage repair, waterproofing done by Be Dry. So with that, you like nice things in your little castle, and so we'll put back up on the wall here a great looking Facebook page and your guys' website. So if you saw that first show, lots of information shared there from our expert here. And I'll tell you, when you got somebody that's 23 years, Mark has had in the industry, and somebody that really gives some valuable information to people, just understand what you're dealing with when you have this kind of a problem, because how often is it people see this and they're like, this is going to be horrible, and you come and say, hey, we've got this under control. How often is it something that can be, is it covered by insurance? Depends on the situation?
Yeah, it depends on the situation, but in our business, rarely. It's rarely covered by insurance because it's act of God or something like that, and those are usually clauses that insurance companies don't cover. So yeah, it's most of the time, unfortunately, homeowners are having to take care of it out of pocket. But like I said, we offer different kind of financing and things that we can do to try to make it as affordable and economical as it can be for anybody that wants to do it. And we'll do jobs in stages for people to help them if that's what they need to. We try to work with you to get your problem solved as best we can.
Yeah, these aren't problems that typically can be overlooked. This is something, better get this taken care of, or else it could be, people put it off, causing themselves, and it's just getting worse.
Yeah, it's only going to get worse, and I see that every day. People say, "Oh, I had a water issue in the basement," and then they say, "Well, I did this little thing, or I did this little thing, and then I didn't have it again all summer." And it's like, well, it didn't rain all summer. That's why you didn't have it again. And then next time it rains, they have the same problem they've had. So, I usually tell people, we're not going to chase water around for you, but we're going to get rid of it for you, and we'll kind of go from there. But yeah, it's something that you shouldn't live with, and you shouldn't have to live with it. There's parts of Kirkwood, Webster Groves, where I've met people and they say, well, I live in Webster Groves, so my basement obviously leaks. And it's like, Well, it doesn't have to. Like, you don't have to put up with a basement that leaks just because your zip code is 63119. Like, you don't have to do that. So, yeah, it's just making the phone call, have us come out, take a look at it, and we'll tell you how it can be fixed and what your different options are, and kind of go from there.
How often is it something as simple as that their gutters are running straight into the ground instead of shoveling the water off away from the house?
That's one of the very first things we look at. I was actually at a customer's house the other day in South City and had old clay tile that went down in, and we were talking about things on the inside and potentially different options. And then we went outside and again continued to talk to him, and he said that he actually had a downspout that went down, and he had scoped it and realized that the pipe under the ground was just completely gone. And so he ran a downspout, on top of the ground. And then as we're walking around the house, where the major part of their issue was, there was another downspout. And I said, well, did you scope that one? And he said, no, I hadn't done that. And I was like, well, if it's the one in the back, it was disintegrated and gone. I imagine this one is probably in bad shape too. Let's get this water away from the house for sure, and then kind of see what happens. So, I left them with a business card and no proposal, but hey, here are some things that you can do yourself. Let's try that first. And if it doesn't work, then great, we'll come back and we'll take care of it. But if you can fix it yourself, then we'll certainly tell you how to do that.
Yeah, sometimes this is rather basic, but I mean those are complicated. But how often then is you find out there's much bigger? What are the other things that then normally have deteriorated or caused problems, or where's the source of these kinds of problems typically?
Yeah, again, it's almost always groundwater,
Okay.
and the ground, the gutters around your house are there to get the groundwater from dropping
Okay.
right on right by the foundation, and then having your downspouts dump right by the foundation. People buy these little decorative splash blocks, and so we talked about it in the other show that the overdig of the foundation is typically where the water runs down around the foundation quicker, and so you have these small splash blocks from your downspouts, and the water just dumps right there, right by the foundation. So getting that water away from the house, 6 feet away at minimum, keeping your gutters clean and keeping a positive grade are the best things that you can do as a homeowner. At that point, if you still have a water problem, then you just got to fix the water problem. You don't want to spend tens of thousands of dollars in other potential remedies, and we see that too, where they'll have somebody out, the cousin of a brother, of an aunt, of an uncle, and oh yeah, I know how to do this. You go ahead and take care of it this way, and it costs you X amount of dollars. And I always tell the homeowner, ask the cousin of the brother, will you give me a warranty that says it's going to stop water in the basement? And they'll be, no, I'm not going to give you a warranty on it, but I'm a professional, it'll fix it. We're going to give you a warranty that says it's going to stop it. It's going to be done if we get to that spot where we have to fix it. So it's definitely something we can help with.
That's what we're looking for, everybody. Write that one down. You want to get something that has that warranty. They can guarantee the work, because how often these problems, they may seem to be resolved, and then they come back and say, you just fixed a little piece of it, or one of the contributors, but not the big problem.
For sure.
And
Yeah.
something that's not good. Residential, commercial, a little bit of both. What do you focus on?
Yeah, we do both. We do absolutely do both. I mean, probably 85, 95%, some big number of our business is residential. But yeah, we just finished a big crawl space encapsulation job over in O'Fallon on a dental office. It was a fun story. That lady was actually a lady who I went out to her house, and she had water coming into her house, and I told her, I said, hey, I think this is what's going on. I think that you can fix this yourself for next to nothing and a couple minutes of your time. And then I left her my card. If something changes, let me know. And then fast forward, she has this dental office. Was it causing issues? We went out, gave her a bid, and we did the work for her. And then it all led back to that original appointment that we didn't try to charge her anything. So she had other people out that wanted to charge her something to do work that wasn't needed, and she fixed herself. So it's just building relationships.
Do what's right. Show some integrity, I think.
Absolutely. Be a good human.
And just do what's... It's simple, everybody, right? But it's harder, because you got to pay the bills. We get it. But, man, long term, it's worked out well for you, because they came back to you for extra work down the road. What do you like about the St. Louis market in this area? There's lots of work to have here because of the climate we have, but good people that you work with, too?
Yeah, of course. I mean, anybody who's lived here for any amount of time knows that it's a great place to live. It's a great place to raise a family. It's a great place to have a business or to be in business. And it's kind of sad sometimes to see what's happening with our downtown area compared to some of the other downtowns. Like when I was growing up, Nashville was just a hick town, and now Nashville's not a hick town. And it's like, oh well, holy cow, that's a great community in Nashville. But yeah, I mean, the people of St. Louis are fantastic. Just the community here and everything about it. Everybody that works for our company that I know of has been here for forever. So yeah, we're not going anywhere.
Yeah, well, with the length of term that you guys have been around, it's pretty extensive, and the history you've got, the reviews, the things that people are saying about you, and just the overall solutions you guys provide with the history of a great company. That's exciting to see what you do. Tell me a time, though. I can only imagine there's been many times like this that you had to help somebody that you knew was in a tough situation. And said, hey, we're going to take care of this for you. We're going to help you out. You really had to go out of your way to help somebody.
Yeah, I mean, it happens a lot. You know, I kind of told people over the years, besides first responders, I'm usually meeting people on one of their worst days. You know,
Right.
I'm meeting people after basements have flooded, after stuff has been ruined, family pictures, and just things that there's no replacement for have been destroyed. And so, it's not necessarily one or two individual things that I could come up with off the top of my head, but everybody that we look to and that we talk to is we treat them like their family. And so I tell customers almost every day. I'll tell customers today, if you were my family, this is what I would tell you, and that's the way it is. And so I can put my head on my pillow at night and know that I did the right thing by people and I treated people fairly and didn't try to take advantage of anybody. So that's the most important thing to me, is just trying, like I said, be a good human, help people out.
Yes, I like that. We haven't used that one, but be a good human, and whatever you reap, whatever you sow, you will reap. They say, I think there's a book that talks about that. But do your best to help this little planet, and things go your way. That's kind of what I've learned too. Tell me a time though when you've been through a challenge with the business, and you were like, oh wow, this is going to be a tough situation, and you guys learned from it.
Sure. So again, part of being a human is to err, and so our guys, they do the best they can every single job they go on, and there's no doubt about that. But we make mistakes, and so if you make mistakes, then things happen because of those mistakes. And when you're dealing with basement water issues or foundation issues, sometimes those mistakes can be catastrophic. Like if you repair a wall and it's not repaired correctly because of human error, and something changes or falls down, then we have to be responsible for that, and we have. We've had situations like that. The culmination of being in business since 1983 is that people get the advantage of knowing that we've made these mistakes and we've figured out how to not make them anymore. So, but yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you never want to make a bad situation worse, and we do the best we can to not do that. But if there's something that we do that is incorrect, then we're going to come back and take care of it, and that's why we've been around as long as we have.
There you go. It's not the error. My dad taught me this baseball analogy, but it's not the error that causes you to lose the game. It's how you respond to that error, right?
That's right.
If you go back and fix it afterwards, if you walk away going, I don't know what happened, they're going to go somewhere else. Somebody else is going to be able to become the superstar. But if you just make it right, and you'll learn from it and be better for it too.
That's it. Yeah, I coached baseball for many years, and yeah, it was always the kid that struck out to end the game was the kid that thought he'd lost the game, and it's like we played 5 innings, 7 innings. We played 27 outs before we got to that spot, 26 outs before we got to that spot. You certainly didn't cost us a game. It was what led up to that. So, just do the best you can every single day, and that's all we try to do.
Well said. Do the best. We're getting a lot of them here from Marquise. Mr. Cooper knows. Mr. Cooper's in the house. Everybody.
I'm an old man. I've been around a while.
Well, I like the baseball background, and coaching kids baseball. Was that kind of a rewarding experience?
It was a great experience. Yeah, the club I coached for is still around, and it was. The club that I coached for back in the day was just kind of we would take all kids. We didn't want somebody to not play baseball because they didn't have a place to play baseball. And so, we'd take everybody and we'd train them up and try to turn them into good baseball players and good humans. And baseball is a humbling sport from a standpoint of life and success, and more importantly, failure and how to deal with that failure. And so, yeah, it was an awesome experience.
There you have it. Somebody speaking from my heart there. Baseball gave me the skills to overcome a lot. It can do the same for you. Stay tuned for more. We're going to talk a little bit more here. We'll be back in just a minute. Stay tuned. Giddy up.
Featuring Kansas City versus St. Louis. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner. Standing 5 feet 6 inches tall and weighing in at 160 pounds. Representing Kansas City Guns and Hoses and the Platte County, Missouri Sheriff's Office. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Hannah Blacklock. And her opponent fighting tonight out of the blue corner.
I like Francis here, though.
At 5 feet 7 inches tall. She weighed in at 159 pounds. And she represents St. Louis Guns and Hoses and the Belleville Police Department. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back Angelina Free.
You don't want to pick a fight with these girls.
His name is Carter Rethwich, but in St. Louis, he's known as the Cardinal Cowboy. He's a well-known fixture in the stands at sporting events in the Gateway City. He's one of its greatest cheerleaders, a super fan like no other. When he makes his rounds at almost every home game, he shares his love for sports with the rest of fandom with a smile, a cheer, some positive encouragement, and lots of selfies and pics. But the Cardinal Cowboy was born of a tragic incident. Rethwich was an aspiring athlete in high school and college. He dreamed of playing in the big leagues, but those dreams ended when he and 3 of his college friends were hit with a devastating crash by a 5-time drunk driver. One of his best friends died. Carter suffered a critical head injury. The trauma put him in a coma for 6 days. The doctors said he was never expected to function again. Those expectations never came true. He fought back and finished college. He was determined to prove the doctors wrong. Among other inspirations, it was his love of baseball that kept him going. And from his near-death experience, the Cardinal Cowboy emerged. His goal in life became to inspire others with positivity despite the odds, to help people believe in themselves and achieve their dreams.
So after my coma, I realized that it was up to me if I was going to accomplish my goals, if I was going to reach my dreams. Despite what the naysayers would say, the people that were discouraging me, like they do everyone, it's up to me if I'm going to make it. Don't listen to the naysayers. It's up to you. You decide whether you're going to succeed, whether you're going to reach your goals. Dream, and then always, always chase your dreams. Never give up. Giddy up. By now, we are on ABC 5 times a week. So many businesses are loving what we're doing to help them get their name out there. We'll sit right here in our guest chair, right here, sitting here talking to us. We're going to put on the wall your website and everything about you, and highlight you as a leader. Fill out the form you see here on our website. It's bigleagues.com, and if you go to bigleagues.com, fill out this form. It takes just a couple seconds, and you can even schedule yourself right here. Schedule yourself to be on the show, and there's no charge for us to record you. There's no charge to be in the studio. Check it out if you would like to be on. Fill out the form again, bigleagues.com. This is where we can turn any interview into a series of clips. A professional video on your website closes more sales by instantly building trust, clearly explaining complex products, and keeping visitors engaged longer, reducing bounce rate by 34%. It'll help you to gain that credibility, increase engagement, simplify complex tasks, lower your sales friction, and boost your rankings on the search engine. So this is all kind of a no-brainer. See how we've now had over 500 interviews and now almost 250 different business owners. Go to bigleagues.com. That's bigleagues.com. Go to bigleagues.com and get signed up. You can schedule right from there.
So there you have it, everybody. We talk about it, though. Technology. Magnetize your media. They asked me to write the introduction to this book. This is the #1 seller on Amazon now, and it really helps you to understand. They said, Carter, nobody magnetizes their media better than you. I said, oh, there's some people that have done some big national stuff. But around the St. Louis area, kind of got my name out there, but I'm fortunate. I felt like I have a message. There's a reason I'm still here on this little planet, and it's to contribute and help other people and make the world a little bit better place. So technology has really changed the way the world functions, but websites, social media, how has technology impacted your business and the way you guys do things now?
Yeah, I mean, there's still you have to have people be able to get to your stuff online because it's no longer telephone books. You know, they got to be able to find you, have a presence on the web. So yeah, we still make it pretty easy for people to find our website and to be able to get on there and book appointments. And because you know, we are seeing more and more people that don't necessarily want to communicate verbally. You know, they'd rather text or they'd rather get on the website and do it that way. So we try to make it as easy for whatever person you are to be able to get in contact with us and get your problem solved.
Yeah, lots of great information you can disseminate there. You get good resources on the web. We're going to talk about that in a second. What are some of the biggest mistakes the competitors make? You mentioned that kind of passively a little bit. They'll go in, they'll say, "Oh, this is a big job," and they oversell and try to get that big sale. What are some of the other mistakes you see that are made without naming names, of course?
Yeah, of course. I think that the biggest one from the TV companies, you know, the companies that are advertising the most on television with the celebrity spokespeople, is just price. I mean, it's just, I tell people in almost every appointment I go into that it doesn't have to be this expensive. You know, I will get people that will, you know, after I give them our price, they'll sit across the table and they'll look at me and they'll be like, they're trying to figure out what's wrong, and it's like, there's nothing wrong. It doesn't have to be as expensive as what people have told you it is. So, you know, there's great people at all of these organizations, but you know, sometimes money gets wrapped up and makes people do things that they wouldn't do otherwise, and so we just believe in treating people fairly. It's kind of the way we do it.
I'm with you. That's why we do the show, because now we can say, hey, let's just kind of condense something to a quick half hour that you can then share on your own. But you got to have something to share and put on your social media and those kinds of things. So that's what we're trying to give a leg up to the small business owners who are doing great work and don't have the $30,000 a week in marketing budgets, right? That cost has to get covered somewhere, and
Absolutely.
and you can understand how that works. Then. And I've seen guys. I know some of the budgets, some of the companies I worked with were in the millions. Big national companies, you know what I'm talking
For
about.
sure, yeah.
But the local guys, we got to help.
The people who don't buy from those companies aren't the ones paying for that advertising.
that's exactly the case. That is so true. Tell me the process, though. You mentioned the website. It's just as simple as somebody go to the website, or they can get the phone number wherever, call you, and then they've set up an appointment with you. So take it from there.
Yeah, phone number, website, either way. You'll get in contact with our office. It'll be one of the young ladies at our office that they'll be corresponding with, and then they will set up an appointment that meets with a customer's schedule, and I'll come out, I'll take a look, and then we kind of go from there. We do have, you know, other guys that do estimations as well, but one of us will get out there. You can ask for me specifically, or you can just, as long as you get a hold of us, you're getting a hold of the right people. But yeah, we'll come out, we'll take a look, and we'll be honest with you as to what you have going on.
And what does that process take then? You get them a bid, they come back, they say, all right, we want this. And then I guess it all depends on the size of the job. Sometimes this is something gets fixed in the afternoon. Other times,
for sure,
it's the longest a job like this.
Well, I'll stress it with if they need a bid, and there are some times where they don't because they have something going on that they don't need a basement waterproofing company for, even though they've gotten several big bids already.
Right.
But yeah, if you need a bid, we typically will write it on the spot, and we leave that with you so you have it. And then once you make a decision as, hey, B-Dry is the company I want to go with, they contact us, and then we will get them on the production schedule and kind of go from there. And that production schedule will vary depending upon the time of the year. Obviously, wet, dry, freeze, thaw cycles, but we typically accommodate them and get them in as quick as we can. And we tell people that too. We don't want to lose their business to somebody else where they have to pay more because we can't get out there fast enough, as long as that's within reason. But yeah, again, as easy as possible is what we try to do.
How often is the work that you have to do deemed emergency work? It has to be done right away. Is that 1 out of 10, 1 out of 5?
Well, I mean, it depends on your threshold for pain. I see people who, you know, they've lived in a house for 30 years. Every spring they get 6 inches of water in the basement and have for 30 years, and now they're tired of it. And then I see people who open the door with their checkbook and say, I have a small leak. I don't care what it costs. I don't ever want to deal with this again. It's 2 different problems, but 2 different thresholds for pain too. So it's eventually everybody gets tired of it, and once you get tired of it, we can fix it. So yeah, it's really no more than that is how much you can stand to put up with before you decide it's done.
There you go. Yeah, obviously these are things that need to be addressed quickly because you don't want to have continued water. And what are some of the repercussions? Like we mentioned, they start getting mold and other things like that.
Yeah, mold is the big one. Mold is the big one because that's the scary one. You know, that can cause health issues. The loss of space, you know, is a big one. Like I mentioned in the last interview, that, you know, your mortgage is include your basement. And
Right.
if you can't use your basement, then that's part of your mortgage that you're paying for that you're not getting return on. So, yeah, the health concerns with mold, and then the potential of, water's not going to get any better. And if you let it continue to cause issues, it could cause foundation issues, and those issues aren't going to get any better. And typically, the longer you let it go, the more it will cost to fix. So it's better just to nip it in the bud right away.
Yes, don't let a problem like this continue, because is it the walls? I mean, if they're starting to literally cave in, then you have a whole wall collapse. It could have been a $700, a $2,000, $5,000 repair. Now it's a $30,000 repair.
For sure, yeah. We typically, if you have foundation walls, and you can see those on our website that we've repaired, but if you have foundation walls that are bowing in, we talk about it. There's two eventual outcomes to a foundation wall bowing in. You have it repaired, or it falls down. And those are the only two eventual outcomes. It never stops moving once it's broken. And so getting it repaired as early as possible saves you from having other costly damage, upstairs, cracking in brickwork, that kind of stuff, as well as, if the wall falls down, it's oftentimes 3, 4, 5 times more expensive to replace a foundation wall than it is to actually just repair one.
3, 4, 5 times more to replace than if it wouldn't have had to do that if you'd have paid attention to it a little more readily, more quickly.
Don't bury your head in the sand. It's not going to go away.
If I just can't see it, if it's not there.
Right.
That's not how you do
I
it.
can't tell you how many times people just, I never go down there. I shut the basement door, I never go down there. Well, it's still there. It's still holding up your house.
Yes, that's true. What is the biggest objection people have? What's the biggest question people have? Say, I think I want to do this, but is it always price, or what are most people concerned about?
Well, like I said earlier, we try to do it. We offer that price assurance guarantee that you won't find somebody doing same work, same warranties, less cost. So we try to take that out of the table. The big thing with, again, the human condition with human beings is they don't want to make a mistake. And that's kind of what I've noticed over my 23 years of doing this is the biggest fear people have is making a mistake. And the more costly the repair, the more fear that goes into making that mistake, because they may not get that money back. And so it's not necessarily a mistake that they make one way or the other. It's just more waiting to make the decision. And I can't tell you how many times, boy, if I'd have known it was only going to be this, I'd have done this years ago.
Right.
But they were scared of it. And so just, they say when it comes to the gym, the hardest door to open is the car door. This is the same thing. The hardest call to make is the one to us, but then once you make it, it's done, and we'll take care of it for you.
Yeah, there's no obligation. They're not.
No, for sure. It's all free estimates.
Get the information to make sure. Right there, it says it, free estimates, everybody. But get this information so that you can make sure you're dealing with this, because the longer you wait, the bigger the problem becomes.
You can never have too much good information to make an educated decision.
That's right. Knowledge is power, and here Mark and his team will make sure to get you on the ball there. We got about a minute left. Ultimately, what it boils down to, you touched on this a little bit, what gives you the most satisfaction for what you're doing here?
Just helping people solve problems. I mean, that's it. It's just, taking what is oftentimes a really terrible situation that they're in and turning it into a positive experience as much as it can be is the most rewarding part of my day. Yeah.
Well, with that, there's a lot that goes into your home, and why wouldn't you want to make sure to have your home properly constructed? Because if you're having foundation issues, they talk about foundation is the most elementary, most important part of a house. Roof, obviously important too, but if that foundation is in bad repair, you've got a big problem. You should take care of this as fast as possible.
You're building everything from the ground up. That's where the saying comes from. You don't build it from the top down.
That's right. I like that. Building everything from the ground up, everybody. That foundation is the key for your house to make sure that everything is in good order. So with that, we've got experts on the Your Little Castle show. We appreciate Mark spending some time with us here this afternoon.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Stay tuned. Watch more. There's a lot more we got coming. This is the Your Little Castle show. Giddy up.